Hi everyone, it's Veronica Bartolini with Codebreaker Real Talk, and we have part 5 with, I shouldn't even do parts anymore, Tom, with Tom Althouse and Andrew, and we have Eve, and we're waiting for Kelly Coffee, and hopefully Corey will show up. So welcome. I mean, thank you all for being here, and it's been a day. The full moon has. Oh, wow. Now it says your internet connection is unstable. So the full moon has been messing that entity that's no longer the real moon.
Yeah.
I think I slept like 3 hours and then another hour. I was in the astral, seeing all these. It was a dragon form of a dark cloud, putting out these other ships. There was a war going out there. I saw different planets, Saturn, stars, different ships. So anyway, we're here though. Thanks guys for being on. So today we wanted to talk about transhumanism, what really is going on, how we healed ourselves. I would like to go around the room and maybe you all can say, especially Andrew, you have a story too, of how we were able to heal ourselves, and we're still healing, especially from words that are not very nice that were said to us when we were kids, right? Maybe in school, maybe your parents or whatever. We're still healing. Maybe we did it to our kids. So, there are these programs, program abandonment, suicide, all that stuff, where they don't want us as children to grow up strong, knowing our power. And they use words, they use people to hurt us either physically or verbally, mentally. How we have been healing, let's hear about that. And then what else? How exercise helps too. Well, whatever you all do or did for that. And then whatever else we want to talk about. So who wants to take the lead?
How about Andrew?
Andrew, how about Andrew?
Yeah, I can go first.
Okay, thank you.
I think in healing yourself, number one thing is just your mindset. So to me, it's realizing that we're already healed, because who we are is not the thoughts and the emotions and the circumstances that are appearing to us in the third dimension, because that's just a manifestation of what's happening on a higher dimension or plane. So to see yourself as like the essence that is God or the creator, or however you want to put that, but like the oneness that is in everything, like we're just a unique perspective and aspect of that. So to me, that has been most important, is changing my perspective, and then the 3D kind of just falls in line with that. I don't know. Does that, was that what was your question again? Did that like
how you're healing, how maybe one example of what happened in your life that you had to like really bear down and say, you know what, I'm gonna heal myself no matter what people say, no matter what I've been told. And you're right, the astral does bleed through here, the 3D. So whatever we do out there comes home here. A lot of people think, oh, I'm just gonna go to work and pretend I'm gonna be someone else when I'm at work, and then you're at home and you're someone totally different. It's like it still causes a bleed through, and also in your astral plane, because we are multidimensional beings, everything is happening at once. So anything that you do out there in your dreams, fighting or helping people or talking to animals, spirit animals, right? Like the other day, an alpaca came to my astral right as I was waking up, and it ended up being one of our soul sisters. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like these So you know how we all know each other, right? We don't know how we know each other, but we just know each other.
Mhm.
And either we'll come into our astral in a spirit animal form, or we'll remember each other from the programs. But yeah, just an example of maybe how you've been healing, Andrew, like what you had to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it for me, I've had at least 14 surgeries. So to me, it's something that's not, like you said, everything's happening at once. So to me, it's about being in the moment, because there's always going to be another thing to heal from if we're in that mindset. And regardless of our mindset, because everything's happening at once. So it's hard to pick like one particular time, because I feel like a lot of people go into it with the idea like, once I heal myself, then, like that's like something that's going to happen in the future, or like that happens at a particular time. So to me, it's not like I can say, yeah, I healed myself from such and such affliction, and then now I'm better, now I'm teaching everyone else how to do it. And I think that's an ideal, and then that's something um, that we should aim for, that we have like these models of, especially religious or different mystery traditions or whatever. They have like the Buddha or the Christ or whatever, who, did the thing themselves, and then now they can teach everyone else to do it. And that's great, because I think at a certain point in our journey, we need that. We need a hope that, okay, someone else did it, so I can do it.
Mhm.
But ultimately, everyone's on their own path, and what worked for me isn't going to work for someone else, and vice versa. So I think, to me, what was important is just going with what resonated and following the synchronicities. And I'm still finding them. Like I just read a book on self-healing that's been really helpful. Even though I know that I already know how to heal myself, but it's just our ego needs something to focus on while we just let go and let the body do what it's going to do, because that essence has to come through. So whether that's through meditation, which I think helps a lot of people, or through a mantra, or whatever practice you want to do to focus your mind, the point is just to let go and let your essence, God, come through you and heal you, because we're already whole and healed. It's our ego that has these hangups of like, I'm not whole because of what happened to me as a child, or because of what I was told as a child. And then those programs just, they will repeat until we get rid of the programs. So yeah.
Thank you, Andrew. Yes, what I did is visualization. And as you know, I was weighing 271. They had me on CPAP, 12 medications. I've had tons of surgeries, probably like 22. I don't know how many. I wrote them down the other day. I got to count them again. But it's horrible, right, Andrew, going through all those surgeries. And you're right. It's like I got to the point where, okay, I'm done with this surgery. Now I have to heal right here. I have to heal, start going to the gym again. And then, I got another one going. Okay, stay in the moment is something that really helped me, Andrew. And visualization. So when I was pretty much dying again, because they even had me on heart pills. My feet, my legs were like getting bigger. I've never had big calves. I'm like a runner. So my calves were getting bigger, the red hives everywhere. I've had the 3 bladder surgeries because I had the cancer. Oh my gosh, it was just horrible. Okay. And I was talking to your mom, Andrew, the other day, and she sent me a video on healing and the mindset. And I said, that's exactly what I used. Not the video, but I used this. I watched the video online in like 2016, where there's this lady that was like, kind of like, I don't know if she had an accident or what happened to her, but she was kind of like quadriplegic in a sense. And she would go to this holistic kind of like masseuse, where a healer, where she would put her like her legs in a pretzel, and she would contortion her body. I don't know how to say that, but maybe it's that word. But she would put her in different positions, and she started healing because she told herself, I'm gonna do this. She
Mhm.
saw herself walking.
Mhm.
I don't want to cry, but when I saw that, I said, I'm gonna get rid of my walker and my cane. I finally gave it away this last year. I just gave it away. I gave the cane, the crutches, and the walker. I'm like, I don't need it.
Mhm.
No. So if you visualize yourself and you believe in yourself, no matter what your family, friends, religion, whatever, TV, whatever says opposite to you, you go within and you reach as you know. How many times have we fallen on our faces, right, Tom? How many times have they taken away
Mhm.
our home, our everything? We've lost everything, but guess what? We haven't lost ourselves.
That's right.
So that's what helped me. Tom, do you have something to say, or Eve?
Yeah, I had in my situation, even as a child, I had to address something that was not going to change, severe abuse, things like that, and rape and things. So what I did was I decided to see if I could have true compassion, and even at a young age. And so I worked on that, and not just identifying as I have it, but actually grilling myself to see if I actually had that in the core of me. And what resulted was this idea where I started feeling happy if I observed others happy. So it became this situation where it was an endless supply of positive, where I could sit at a dinner and not be allowed to eat and watch others eat and take great happiness on watching others enjoy food when I'm deprived it. And it was an amazing situation where it became such a reservoir of, a supply of positive. And that came into layered thinking where even now, even with enemies, they have to be self-proclaimed enemies. I won't make them enemies. They have to choose to be enemies. But I still know at the heart of me is a feeling of wanting all to be happy. People have identified that. They call it tremendous empathy. With that, I mean, it's amazing because it's very self-healing too. It's like I can look anywhere in the world and feel happy, regardless of what my situation is, regardless of what has happened to me. Because people say, how do you survive all this? The ego is basically gone. It's like I have this vision of what I start getting these visions of what people can be. I don't force it on them, but I get an image of what their potential is. And I thrive on that, seeing their potentials. And it's just crazy. It's like a beautiful world to me all the time. That even when I was analyzed through this, they said, tremendous empathy, gifted genius. And they said they saw it as me having rose-colored glasses, that I saw the world as always, so beautiful and good. But what's wrong with that? If it's like it really is healthy to have a active, vibrant compassion center. And that's what I'm even telling the Hollywood moguls and others that I deal with in contacts. Even I end up counseling contacts that are supposed to handle me. And so it's really wild that that's what happens. They often want to become friends, and they often root for you while they're assigned to you.
Yes.
And it's crazy because they don't think this is possible. So I think a lot of us that come from difficult, very rough situations have the ability and the opportunity to develop a ongoing, I call it reservoir of positive. It's just like you start enjoying what others have. And I've done that. It involves my own son, not to drag this out, but I just made lobster tails for my son.
Oh.
I didn't have a lobster tail, but I am so happy that I gave my son a lobster tail, baked it, followed the recipe online, and I'm thrilled to have given him that. And it feels like I had it, so you get this wonderful feeling of satisfaction, and it's almost like you've enjoyed the best by giving the best to others. It's just it's indescribable.
Thank you. That's so funny because I was craving lobster like a week ago.
That's that synchronicity Andrew was talking about. Yeah.
You know that reservoir that you talk about in the pink glasses. I'm glad you brought that up because 2 days ago when I was, because I finally so happy. All week long I've been going to the gym. My mom finally showed up to the gym. I'm so happy. Woo! She finally did. She's 74 years old. She's a baddie too. I'm so proud of her. There was a friend of mine at the gym. We introduced each other, blah blah, and then we started talking. And I told him I had a panic attack, and I had to call one of my friends. I called Chad because I was looking at I was driving home from the gym that night before, and it was beginning to rain. And I'm like, oh shit, like shoot, like I have to like get these cobijas. How do you say cobijas? Cobijas. Things like comforters or something, to give to the homeless. I got to do something, give little packages of things to the like little purses that people don't want or something. Give them to me and I'll fill them up with stuff, or do something for the community. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to cook for them and I want to feed them. It's like, I started crying. I started yelling, screaming at the top of my lungs in my vehicle, saying, enough, wake up, enough. I was just like really mad, but at the same time, I had compassion. And my heart was like, I just wanted everybody to be safe, to know their power, to stop worshiping these demiurges, which we call dog wars or God wars. Stop praying to these entities. They're just laughing. They're taking your gold. They're not helping. And it's just a game for them to take, see how many people are going to get on this team, that team, things like that. And I said enough, and I was just, and it's like I had to talk to Chad. I didn't know who to call. I can't really talk to my family. They want me to stop talking, and I'm like, I'm not going to stop talking online. But I was talking to my friend at the gym, going back to that, and he said, and I said, I'm just very empathetic, and I just feel for everyone. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be fed. I want everybody to be warm. The animals too, our pets, our animal beings, the birds. And then he's like, that's very dangerous. He said, your way of thinking is very dangerous. I'm like, being empathetic is dangerous?
Yeah, a lot of people say that. It's crazy.
Said, oh yeah,
they do. Yeah.
And I don't agree.
No. Yeah, I look at them and I realize, no, it's not the way. Definitely not the way.
So Chad and Kelly, thanks for being on. I know, Chad, you took a lunch break. Ev, your makeup looks beautiful. You look like Cleopatra. Mwah. So we're talking about healing, how we've healed ourselves, how we're still healing. Any examples you might want to give our audience, and then also we're going to talk about this transhumanism. I guess there was a thing on the news there. Tom was saying that they want to dismantle the 3-letter agency FBI, but the thing of it is, they're doing it on purpose.
Well, now Trump is saying that, the Republicans are saying that after I've been saying that. I think I was on an interview the morning before they posted that, and it was like I was saying, you got to dismantle the FBI if you want to have the key to writing this world. Basically, it is the group of agencies that are actually handling the rest of the world, and I have the articles to show it. And so it handles Hollywood, it handles it. Just there's the key right there. And I know the individuals involved. So
I do get that, but at the same time, they're trying to get boots on the ground. The vision that I had in March of 2020, when all this planned stuff happened, and they're trying to get the emergency orders. Well, they're already been here since 9/11, 9/11. But they're trying to get the military to be the key, and that's why Amazon has all those things going under the railways.
Well, there's the Pentagon, and there's the FBI, and there's the CIA, and then it's like and the banking system, the federal, so it's like these guys have all combined together. They even involve the mafia. So it's like this conglomeration is the cabal. So I know because I was groomed by the cabal in all its different facets. Even the mafia came to me. So it's like, I mean, John Walsh, America's Most Wanted, I had dinner with the FBI heads where they gave me the card, please extend every courtesy to Tom while I'm being groomed by the religious right to be the face of Christian coalition while I'm being approached by the mafia. They're telling me that, if I want anybody to disappear, I mean, all this is happening because I was a writer and that they were all interested in different. So it's interesting that you become a magnet. They said the magnet for all the different cabal elements, the octopus's arms all come your direction and they all offer you different status and awards if you will come on board. So I think others out there that have been approached by all the different facets need to step forward and start revealing, because many people take the offers. I didn't see anybody around me that refused an offer when offers were given in the circle I was in. And they all took it. They all took it. And if you don't take it, they'll take a relative and give it to them and take you down with a relative. So yeah, it really isn't that complicated when what's going on. And now that they pissed off the wrong people and they're saying the same thing I've been saying. So now it's all coming together. While Disney and these other organizations have said, Tom, you got the power, you've won the chess game. They call it a chess game. So they work on monetary value, how much value we have, how much influence we might have with the money we might have. And my particular value is now at 1.2 billion plus since Matrix 4 came out. That doesn't count the inventions that are in the movie. So, I mean, Neuralink, what's that worth? Internet, all that stuff, what's that worth? Windows, what's that worth? So it's like, ta-da. So that's why they put Keanu Reeves as my character. And they're like saying, now that Terminal List is out, #1 show, and my main character, Jim Reese, is now Jim Reese in Terminal List. So really, we are sitting right in the room right here with what can change this world. All of us can just change this world like that. The people in power, the cabal, is ready to fall in line. We are at that threshold point. And that's what's so interesting, with an awareness of other beings that are observing what's going on, interacting too. And I think we've all had experiences. Many people don't talk about those experiences because it's not popular to talk about those. I can talk about the deep state, being groomed, what I've been offered, but to talk about my experiences with other world, that's risky to me. But talking about FBI, CIA, what they've offered, mafia, no problem for me. It's the otherworldly that's a little more difficult for me to talk about. So, yeah.
I totally get you. I was, by a 5-letter agency, I was offered a position to train some soldiers that I've told you guys about. And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. I also had family members on my, the Italian side, mafia. And it's like, no, I'm not gonna. And then they ended up getting in trouble later. So same here. The same here. And it's like interesting because when you look at these different organizations, when you're approached and they give you their sales pitch, they offer you the chair and they're saying you're one of the elite now and they're offering this stuff. It sounds attractive. Boy, it sounds like you're going to be part of a family and they're going to look out for you and you will have no more worries anymore. And it is shortcuts to fame and fortune and you name it. And they even provide who you're going to be with. It's so easy. It draws the lazy in like moths to flames. It just draws them in because it's shortcuts to everything you want, no effort needed. And those that want the easy way out, that's what they're targeting. Those of us that actually want to matter and do it right based on compassion and rooted in us, then we become labeled difficult by the cabal. We're difficult because we can't be bought and they want to make the world think everybody has their price. Or severely mentally ill.
They'll throw delusion, they'll throw, dangerous and crazy often. Delusion is their, oh my God. If I had $1 for every time I heard delusion from the bought people and handlers that were involved, delusion, delusional. It's like that's their clever word or that makes them feel smart to say it and drop it. And so I've been sending that right back saying, if you guys think that I'm going to wave a gun around, shoot you guys are the ones that are deluded and paranoid. And they scream and yell, they hate that. So I'm sending it right back publicly that they're the ones that are deluded thinking that I'm going to do something or saying I'm going to. It's just, that's delusional. That's paranoid.
Thank you.
They don't like that. No.
Yeah. Did you want to chime in? I think you have like maybe 45 minutes. How did you heal yourself? The topics are, how did you heal yourself? to empower other people as well on the show they're watching. Transhumanism and what else, Tom? Whatever, anything else that pops up.
Yeah, well, you threw in the alphabet boys too, but yeah, it's like that's a very hot topic right now with that. So that's
Well,
fair.
yeah, there's a new show, Alien Abductions on Netflix. I'm like, oh, now they're talking about it. Well, that stuff is real. Okay, Chad, your turn. Sorry.
Yeah, healed is a word I won't use with myself. That's going to be a process, but I think as long as we're working along that journey, that's the good thing. I do like, I get a little discouraged when I hear Tom say like everybody took the bribe, around you. That's a little discouraging, but I look around me and I kind of feel like when I get a sense of people, because you're saying you try to see the innate good in everything, and I do too, but right now I do see the other part of it. And I think I don't want to judge it and I don't want to have an opinion about it, because right now it's it's something to figure out. But I think people are sick and I think people are under a spell and I think they're disconnected from their hearts. And I feel like there's a disconnect from their head as well. They're in their head, but they get a disconnect from their intuition and their common sense. So they're blocked here and they're blocked there. And then so it's wrong to judge them. It's like once people, they're going to say stupid things and behave in ways that aren't, that compelling. And I think once they're healed a little better and they're connected to their hearts, but that's going to be a process. We're going to have to be here for them. I've been going through this for years, and I'm now on day 5 of No Fight Club. So I'm working through it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I got my lights on bright. I need to. So healing's always a process there. But I think that's when I'm trying to figure out the playing field, like who are the others? Well, I think they are us. They're just disconnected. We're a little more connected.
That's a beautiful way to view it. I just want to say, Chad, I love what you just said, the whole package. It's just like, I love it. And it's like, it reminded me that in the screenplay, Hunger Games is actually in the screenplay before Hunger Games came out. In fact, the producer of Hunger Games was supposed to talk to me, then he cut out. He was going to actually admit what was going on. But what you just, why I bring that up is this, you just pointed something out. It's like the public has been forced into an idea of get in the arena and fight. You got to fight for it, fight. That the others are competition, fight. They haven't been given the right scenario or environment. They've been told that they have to survive, they have to fight. That's been slammed at them through all these different films, through all these different series.
They're in fear mode.
This idea. Yeah, they're pitting against each other. So it's really, I can see that where the public isn't really responsible so much for the behaviors that are manifesting in them because they're given this fight thing all the time. Fear played like an organ with the different colors even for fear. So yeah, I just want to go along with what you're saying.
And I want to comment too on Veronica earlier saying about empathy. Thank you, Tom. And because you were saying, tuning into to everyone around you, and sometimes I feel like the empath in me will tune into what I'm ignoring inside myself. I'll tune into it into others. I'll feel their hurt, their pain. So those are sometimes clues. Not always, but a lot of times I think that's what's going on there. So we'll just leave it there. And another comment about John Walsh, his daughter is coming out with some lovely stories about him online too, if anybody would like to tune into that.
I wrote that down. I'm like, gotta remember to tell. Yeah. Story.
There's one thing too I wanted to share with you real quick is that it goes along with the John Walsh thing. These guys are very charming. Sounds weird, a guy saying that, but they are. When they approach you, they are very charming. They are very, it's hard to describe the layers involved, but I think that'd be worth looking at sometime, what an approachment's like, that people can get an idea, almost a virtual reality of what is it like to be approached by the elite? What is the language they say to you? What do they offer you? How they approach it in their methodology? And it's very interesting. It is almost like the idea of like seduction. It's almost like an idea of business seduction. I don't know how to say it, where it seems like they're the end all. They have they got it together. They got it all figured out and they love you. And you are definitely the guy or the girl for them to, you fit perfectly. And we want to pick you out of the, one of the elite now, one of the phrases. Anyway, it'd be interesting to explore some of those approaches and just dissect their tactic of
Oh,
absorbing
yeah.
people in.
You know,
Yeah.
Chad and I are gonna do a show on the 16th. If Tom, if you want to be on with us, because we're gonna talk about these trolls and how they did it, how they seduced me to thinking, oh, I was someone's twin flame, and how fast do you want to go? Those were his words. How fast do you want to go now that we know we're twin flames and we're supposed to be together forever for space and for the fight and blah blah blah. And my eyes were like all googly, as fast as we can.
I would love to be part of that, guys. You guys totally. I would love to be part of that because, boy, with honeypot wives too. A lot of people don't understand what honeypot wives are and how the state, uses those, and that is a big tactic. And it goes right down with what you're saying. And handlers, and there's different tiers to them too. So, yeah, I'd love to do something like that.
Well, thank you. Kelly, would you like to say anything, or Eve?
Yeah, I'll just jump in real quick. I gotta take a quick phone call, but yeah, I didn't have anything really. I mean, I'm listening to everybody, and it's really resonating with me. I think that one of the things in just healing is it has to be, natural. It has to come from within. And one of the things, I try forcing everything. That's just my nature. I want everything, and I want it now. And I think that's a lot of things that, you're learning your karma, you're learning who you are, and having to take part and go backwards almost in time to be able to just pull apart every little piece, every little dark piece. And I had to do that from the now all the way back to when I was a child, and having to figure out why I had all this trauma. And I knew there was a reason. And even taking self, introspection and realizing that the family that I had, there was a specific reason why I was placed with who I was placed with. They wanted me to be strong, and my parent, the one who took care of me majority of the time, was emotionally abusive, verbally abusive, physically abusive, had narcissistic tendencies, and even within the last few years, I had to question, why was I placed there? Why was I placed in this toxic environment? And the only thing was, it was to keep me down. It was to keep my vibration low, and I wasn't gonna do it anymore. I wasn't going to play that game. I wasn't going to be a part of it. And as much as it hurt to have to separate myself from some of the toxic family members that I had, it broke my heart. But I had to do it for my own good. I had to do it for the good of the people around me that were a part of my life, because we're all connected, every single one of us. And one of the teachings, from my medicine man was that, we're all one light. We are all one. And, that's the source that Tom, that you spoke of in your script, the source, that we're all part of that. We all come from there. And just being able to allow yourself to just heal the way, and that's exactly what Andrew said. Everybody is so totally different in how they heal. So what's, what worked for me won't work for somebody else, or vice versa. Just kind of have to listen to your own intuition. And being an empath sensitive, I've had to learn to listen to that little voice inside me, because I made so many mistakes in my lifetime by not listening to it. And it's very important to be able to allow yourself to be this child, and then to grow, and being kept in a traumatic environment as a child. You become an adult, and you have to take care of yourself, and you have to watch out for yourself, because you don't have that going on. And I think that was one of the reasons why I was placed where I was, to make me a stronger person. And for that, I've had to see the positive to that. Otherwise, I would just keep looking at the negative aspects and, keeping myself in a lower vibrational self. Definitely, raising those vibrations and listening to, the frequency of universal love and light. And, it sounds kind of corny, but, that's basically all that I really do. I'm about ready to do my yearly detox where I do like 30 days of organic fruits and vegetables, water, green tea, and honey, no preservatives, no additives. And for some reason, I tend to do a lot more dream walking and the meditations. I can meditate for hours. So I'm looking forward to it, but like I said, everybody's different, and definitely embrace the originality within. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama. That sounds like the Daniel's diet. When I was in the Christian church, we used to do that once a year during like Lent area. I think it was during Lent season or like
I did it last year around the end of August, which is really weird that I want to do it again, but might take part in a couple of regression, and I'm actually looking into like a hypnotherapy session. So
that, but we can talk about that after.
yeah.
So you do that once a year, the detox?
I guess this would be my second year doing it. First year was amazing. Just being able to connect a lot as a healer and being able to connect with people. It definitely amped up a lot of abilities for me, and being able to not being able to just kind of like go with the flow, and allowing my abilities to just kind of help.
Yes, just trusting yourself. And a lot of people say, well, how is it that you're psychic and medium? And just trust your gut feeling, trust yourself. When you're done, when you're there healing yourself, like I always say, unchaining your heart and unmasking your soul. When you find out who you are and how powerful you are, baby girl, baby boy, nothing can stop you, right? Real quick before I go to Kelly, Tom, we were talking about how they approach you, these people.
Yeah.
How they were able to get in and now they can't. I'm gonna
it's interesting because once they approach you, you're considered part of the club. You're either hostile in the club or you're elevated in the club, but you're always in the club. And these are different factions that make up the cabal. So I've been approached by Italian mafia, Jewish mafia, Hollywood, Masons, CIA operatives in the Masons. FBI gave me the cards, then every courtesy religious right. It's supposed to be the face of Christian Coalition. It goes on and on. Even IBM. I was approached by all these different ones. They saw something they liked, and I attribute that to layered presence, layered thinking. Like I think Chad and I talked about that. Layers, and it's like that attracts high level players. If you're presenting yourself in layers, they see that as very dynamic, and it just draws them like bait on the hook. And so then they want to recruit you. They want to take you in because they see you as different than the rest of the population. You see things. Yeah. And what's interesting is I want to point something out too, just real quick. When they approach you, we're talking about how they approach you and what they do. They approach you very warm and very strong and very complimentive. But just think of therapists and nursing and doctors and in general in our country. All right. They are supposed to keep what do they call it? Something professional distance. And it's like, what heals better? Would you want somebody who loves you dearly, who has the skills, that is loving you while they're healing you? Or do you want somebody who has that professional distance that's going to be just like talking to you like you're basically just a stamp and just, talking to you while they're going to help heal you? That doesn't work. We are conditioned to respond to genuine caring, give and take both. And it's like that has been taken away from industry and professions that need to have it back. And it's interesting how much people will talk about how they had somebody who was a caregiver or something that actually cared. So this idea of the psych field and things like this, therapy, it's like if you're telling your life stories and one of your hardest journeys to someone who's just completely apathetic in their demeanor, and that's their professional distance, it's not going to work. What's happened to me when I've had to deal with certain people in my situation, where I've been called to go see somebody, I end up counseling the counselor. because I'm showing compassion where they didn't see this before. And suddenly they're confiding in me, and the session turns into them telling me about their life.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they're feeling close and feeling amorous sometimes even. It's just unbelievable. So it's like, it really does work. Layers with compassion disarms everybody. It really does. And that professional demeanor goes out the wall, out the charts. So it's like, I think what the professions need to realize is, let's start instituting hospital care, psych stuff, or we're gonna have psych stuff or whatever, but let's actually have it where the people actually feel for the person they're talking to. Because it's like two bad components. It's like no caring while we're talking about the worst things you're going through, or there's trauma you're in and the person doesn't care, and we know that's their job, not to really show any feeling.
Well,
God.
that's why they're having the AI, the robots now.
Yeah, we're conditioned for it. That's a good point.
Might be more empathetic than some of these backdrops.
That's right. That's what I was thinking too. It's like, it might even be more healing to have a robot rather than these people doing their professional going over their laundry list while they're trying to talk to somebody who actually needs the care, especially elderly who are facing maybe a chronic illness or hospice. God help us. When my dad was in there, it's like they're just having little chats among themselves as they checked him off the list. It's like, well, we gave him his change, we gave him his food, and now we're done with him, so let's talk small talk in front of him. As if he doesn't even exist. The man's dying. It's like, that's terrifying for so many people.
Yeah.
Show some compassion.
Yeah.
So I think we really need to revamp a way caregiving is done.
Yeah.
I was a lifeguard. I would be in tears while I'm rescuing somebody. And I'd be like interested in who they are and what they felt and, that kind of stuff. And they wanted to maintain a friendship. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's like back to the village mentality where people used to be in the communities and villages. I think that was some of the healthiest gatherings of society, structure, where it's like you have those village mentalities where the doctor, the caregivers, the witch doctor, whatever. And it's like they are part of your life and you're part of their life. And when they're there to care for you, it's like they don't want to lose you. Instead of this thing where they can't wait to check you off and clear that bed and bring in the next person, they get to go play golf.
Right.
We have a twisted society as far as caregiving.
Yes. Thank you, Tom. Chad, go ahead.
Oh, I'm not muted. Okay. I wanted to ask Tom, because you just said something that I wanted to tune into, and it was along the lines, they see us as different as the others. And you know what? We are. Because when we try to talk to the others that don't do layered thinking, and I don't care how brilliant they are. I just had a conversation a week ago with somebody that's considered the most brilliant engineer this side of the Mississippi from G&E, and could not see what I saw in the architecture because it didn't have the same numbers on it that the circuit board has. And so they don't have the layered thinking. Brilliant in their own right, but they don't have the layered thinking. But you're teaching it. So I'm curious, you do think it can be taught?
Yes.
That's a really embarrassing question, because it almost feels like I'm talking, about another thing.
I don't know.
But we are different. So I want to know, and can they be taught?
Yes,
We
absolutely.
were just naturally born with it, but can
you
they
give them
be
a taste of it. You give them a taste of it. And there's exercises we could just spell out instantly right here. It takes minutes or a minute. It's like exercises that give them a taste of what layers is. And one of the ways you can translate it for them too is through music. Let them look at music. Is music one note at a time, or is it a symphony of harmony of sounds? It's like music is layered thinking. Music is a universal language. As soon as they understand that it's really not that foreign and not that complex a concept, that we're already brought up with layered thinking through music. It's like, and then when you put in place of notes is feelings. There's nothing dangerous or wrong about having multiple feelings at the same time that are all positive. That makes you dynamic. And you know who notices it? Children, animals, elderly. They notice it. They see it and they're drawn to you because you have a vibrancy about you, and even your physical presence radiates it. Your aura radiates it because you have layers going on and it's all positive. While the other people are like solitaire or whatever it is with Mozart's, Nemesis, where he's doing one thing at a time.
Solitary, yeah. But
Yeah.
that's the thing, Tom. I do agree with you, but then I see the other side, because I have a friend that I've known for almost 7 years, and he cannot. The last time I visited him, I haven't visited him since, because he said, Veronica, you're all over the place. I can't do this. I'm like, That's why I don't come visit you that often. Because
All over the place.
and he's a musician. He's a yogi.
Yeah, but that's a title. But the thing
He'll
is,
ground you.
the thing is, all over the place is something the other side says, but all over the place, if I feel a lot of things at the same time for you as a person, that's dynamic. That's not being all over the place. That's showing many positive feelings at the same time. If they can't receive that or not used to that, that is what we're trained to be, what we're evolving to be when we go through adolescence, to be dynamic beings that feel lots of things at the same time.
Okay.
So I don't care if he's a yogi or a shmogi or a dogi. The thing is, like, he has to, if he can't understand layered feelings, he needs to step up to the plate and get to understand about, it's not your fault. If you have layered feelings, you're shining. He
He's
can't
being
ask you to dull
judgmental.
down.
He's being judgmental because he can't be like me. Because
It's probably frustrating for him, probably frustrating, but it can be taught. That's what I'm saying. It can be taught easily. It's a great question Chad asked. It's not hard to learn. Not hard.
go ahead, Chad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I have one more question. And I'm sorry, you guys, I'm going to be taking off here in a second. And hi, Andrew. It's good to see you on the platform.
Sorry.
Okay, so now I have a second question here for Tom, because you did mention, okay, because Corey brought up a good point last discussion that it's very simple. If you get a good feeling from them and you feel like you don't have to work for it, then it's and it's compassionate, because that's what I've been asking for this week differently. I said SOS. Whenever I get mad, I stop this by SOSing, and I just ask for anything offering unconditional help that's compassionate, loving, has all my, I don't want the lessons that are all rigid, so it's all compassion and loving. So when he said, if it feels good and you don't have to work for it, because you always think, maybe I can make it, maybe it'll shift, maybe it'll change. Those are the ones that we need to avoid, because you made that comment. They'll smile in your face and say, Tom, I could be thinking of 30 ways to kill you right now. So I feel like we can see through that, but sometimes we just try to, it's almost like the girl who kicked over the hornet's nest or whatever. When that guy said to her, everybody knows why I'm bringing them down, but they still go anyways because they doubt it in their own mind. If we can, do you think we can sense them?
Yes,
Are they that?
absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You can't.
One of the great exercises, you just brought something up so cool, Chad. One of the greatest exercises you can do with layers is, this has happened so many times, where I'll have a person who's, a lot of times they approach you if they feel threatened or unsure of what you are, and they're concerned because you're attracting so much attention. Our goal is not to attract attention, but they're seeing the room light up where people are paying attention to you because you've got layers and vibrancy. So that threatens a lot of these people that are trying to be authoritative, important, and matter. And so they'll suddenly stare you down, look at you like this, like you don't know what I'm thinking, kind of thing. And you can actually play a little game with them sometimes and go, here's what I'm getting. I'm getting this, and this, and tell me if I'm wrong. But just, this is what I'm kind of picking up from you. And I just want to make sure I can connect with you and be open and honest with you. So here's what I get. And they're like, what? What? It's like, wait, how did you read through all that? Wait, stop. Yeah. And it's like, you can do that game where it's like, I perceived you all, like, it's like Sherlock Holmes.
And sometimes they get mad. They're like,
oh,
"No, I
yes.
cannot."
Oh, yes. Oh, you know what's worst is when if it's in a dating situation, turn it off, because the woman wants to feel mysterious often. And if you lay it out like, bum, 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 here's what I see, it's like they feel naked. It's like, it's not going to go over well over wine and steak. So yeah.
Forget about the shrimp. Forget about it.
Yeah. Then you might get the creepy card, but it's like, no, you're actually just laying it out and being honest. But yeah, there's many.
Well, I had an experience like that as well, because I was sitting with two people and they were saying, here's some emails from so-and-so that says that this person I'm sitting with is with the CIA and has been with the CIA. Do you want to read the emails? I said, I don't need to read the emails. I said, if you're with the CIA, that's fine. You should just let me know. That I stopped talking to the other person. I spoke to the person in question. I said, if you're with the CIA, that's cool, man. Like, you can just let me know. And he just stared at me. They don't have any, what are they going to say? So, because apparently, I'm interested to know, Tom, like I was going to ask that before Chad did, more about your experiences and how that they are contacting you, because in my experience, it sounds like to you they gave you the card and everything, and I think that certain factions that makes a lot of sense. But then in my experience, they were like that. They were very much oh, I know a Mason lives down the street that I'm friends with, or oh, I know this Mason that's in Hollywood and they're on the phone with them, but I don't talk to them. So I just think that's interesting, the different experiences, because to me they like I said, tell me you're in the CIA because I already know, right? But they won't tell me. So
What you did, Andrew, was you stood out. That's what's really cool. You stood out. And it's like, that's something where they don't expect these kind of returns. They think the public is a general wash of a certain style and a certain level of mentality, and they look down on it. And when you take a risk and lift it up and go like, here's what and show this vibrant mind with layers, then they're like, whoa, they feel like they tapped gold, you know, and then they'll want to be your friend or things like this. So they want to associate with you, because many times people, even in government agencies, want to see what the next thing they can attain is available to them. What's the next opportunity? And you mix in certain things like writing and things like that, then suddenly they're fans. Yeah.
We definitely challenge them.
We can dismantle them. We can dismantle them. I love the word. I like to use that word, but dismantle them just by being better in our natures, being consistent, not having a price, doing everything they didn't expect that their playbook said would be there, and showing it's not. And then showing it's a better way of life anyway. And that's what I'm dealing with Disney now. I'm letting Disney know over and over to nausea that if they want these other screenplays, then they got to realize they need to do the work with compassion and recondition their organization. If they want their numbers to go up and be saved from falling flat on their face, then they need to be a compassionate organization. They need to turn the ship around and operate it from a point of kindness and beneficial to humanity, and especially to the children, and clean house. And then they can see my work. And so they are definitely, we're getting them to turn their ship around. They're actually looking at doing that. So it's done through just, basically rationale and appropriate, presence and layers. They're fascinated by layers. It's like it's like you're juggling, and they just don't understand how you do it. They don't know how to do it, and they feel like they know how everything goes. And so they're like, how do you do that? No, it's nothing. It's just, whatever.
Nope, it's gone. Vortex, wormhole. Right, Em? Thank you, Tom and Chad and all you beautiful souls. I love you so much. Thank you for being on. Kelly's having difficulties with the internet. Hopefully she'll be back on. Yeah, so the 5-letter agency, they said, I can kill you right now. And I'm like, go ahead, make my day. I'm not scared. They threaten. Now, there's one thing that they do, which is, well, a lot of things, but one of the things that they do is when you don't have your Stargate, we'll say your Stargate or your wand in control or shut down to where you control it, right? Your sexual energy. Okay. When you are not in control of that, to where nothing, not a commercial, not a meme, not a beautiful woman walking in half naked or a man strikes you like, we got a shag, you know what I mean, or whatever. When you are so in balance with yourself, they can't use you. So there's this thing that one of my videos is the one where I have my dragon lady on one of them. I think it was last year that I did it. Right before I start speaking, there's a robotic sentence that says, it goes like this. What's your fancy? It's what's your fancy? These pedophiles get in trouble because they have not been able to control their animalistic views on innocent children. You have to be careful what you put in your mind, what you feed yourself, what you hear. Because we are like a computer. Our mind is like a computer. If you're listening to commercials on TV saying, oh, you got to buy, I always use this example, you got to buy yourself a plot for when you die. Oh, take this medication. Oh, if you have that, you know what I mean? It's just propaganda. But anyway, Eve, you want to say something, or Chad, before you go? Thank you.
Yeah, I have a quick thing to say. You know what I let everybody know that I get into a relationship with? First thing, I always let them know, and I've done this with every single one of them except one. And I was in a relationship 9 years ago, and I was in another one 10 years ago. So it's not like I've been in many, but I can love you and leave you. That's the first thing I let them know. I can love you and leave you. So just know that.
And that's funny that you brought that
You don't got me because you think, because I love you, you need to behave, or it's just,
right.
I can love you and leave you.
Yep.
So.
And what I say is I can cut you off like boom, like that. You see me right now, you don't see me tomorrow, and you'll never see me again because I disappear like that. It might hurt me for maybe a day or a month, maybe, because I have to heal myself again. But I'm like, I'm not going back to scum. I'm not going back. What do they say? Don't throw the pearls to the pigs. I ain't going back to that pigsty. Okay. And I don't mean it in a derogatory, I'm not talking anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they actually have this philosophy passed out there that a beautiful woman is going to win the man, and there's no way around it. A man is wired that way. He's going to be that way. I've had women, like when I was in LA, California, a beautiful girl brought me out there, and she came in the room naked, and I just acted like she wasn't even naked. I just went like, whatever. It's like that doesn't have to affect us that are actually at a higher level of functioning, where we actually do think in layers and feelings and things like that. We're actually going to look at them as a person. And so, it makes them mad. They get mad that they went that far to do that, to stage that. And it's like, then you see them grabbing the towel, but it's like, no, don't spring that on us. It's not going to work. But it's actually, love us for our hearts and who we are, what our heart is. I tell people, yours is strong. You guys are strong with it. I'm like, as long as I'm loved from my heart and who I am, the heart matters most, is then things are good. But I kind of like what you guys said too. I'm going to tag that on there. So.
Thank you. Ev, you're next.
Oh, I thought Chad had something to say. He was
Go ahead. Sorry.
around. Go ahead. You have to leave first, Chad. You might as well say something.
I was trying to think. Well, to me, I was sort of like when he said a naked person walking in the room. To me, it's like I don't know what Nephilim means to me, but I always say no Nephilim, because I always feel like they hijack the pretty bodies, and I can see right through it. Because when you sleep with somebody, and I've done it before, and I use this as an example, this is in my youth, but I ended up in a threesome on my birthday with, and it was just kind of like a novelty thing, and you'd think, "Ooh, this is exciting," but it really wasn't, because if I don't have a connection with somebody, it's just shallow, and it feels like you're sleeping with paper. Or if somebody sleeps around a lot and they come with you, it's just hollow. I don't know how else to explain it. It just feels shallow and hollow. And so I get nothing out of it, and I want to leave immediately.
Yes.
So
plus that neediness is attached to it. There's a neediness attached to it when people approach you that way. And it's like, I don't want to go to that neediness. Yeah.
I'd rather unwrap my gift. Thank you very much.
What is it, Tom? There's a what connected? What?
A neediness. When someone does that, that to me, it's like they're exhibiting a neediness to be, they want a response they're expecting. Their expectations are high for a response they expect. And that's not fair to the party. That's
the needy squid. Don't mess with the needy squid. Don't think, thank you. No, thank you. Go away.
Yeah. I actually do believe, though, that the woman, the society balance is really nice by and large. If the woman decides that, finds the man that she wants and then presents herself to the man as, this is what I'm thinking. And the man says, yeah, it's kind of flattering to the man. I think we got it backwards in our dating system, where a man is supposed to pursue a woman. No, I don't like it. A man's supposed to, capture the woman. Nah, it sounds stupid. Enough of the caveman stuff. I think it's really cool if a woman is, culture, together, feels good about herself, says, I like you to the man, and the man goes, wow, that's very flattering. And yeah, I'd like to explore that. I think it's more balanced than a man pursuing the woman and trying tricks and traps to get her to be his. I'm like, no bueno.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel too. I'm just getting to the point where I'm trying to decide on exactly what it is, if I'm going to just continue on through this path alone, or if I'm meant to actually have a partner. And it's been 3 years since I've actually been in a relationship, and just getting to know me. And I think that's the important relationship most of all. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on.
I think that's absolutely brilliant too, just to throw in 2 cents too. You look great, by the way. It's like,
you.
you know, in my situation, I've been approached by so many players, honeypots, things like that, that after a while you go, eh. And those that came to me, even Miss Americas that came to me, like Miss Oklahoma runner-up, Miss Virginia twice, Miss Vermont, these people that came to me, it's like, yeah, if I'm doing shows, they're like high-level players. But the idea is then they get approached by all these people, don't, and it just became a combat zone. So for me, it was just like, let's just finish the job and then I'll look at a relationship. Yeah. But
Thank you. And then Chad, yeah, about the threesomes, you know, it's also a program too, because and I've been divorced 10 years now, and I know that I'm doing this alone, but if in the future, like if the man comes and he's the one, then, you know, we've talked about this before, then it'll happen. But I'm not worried right now about, oh, who's going to be my next boyfriend? No, because I'm already doing it by myself. I'm going, you know, I'm celibate. I'm doing this journey by myself. I have you guys that surround me, which I'm very, very grateful. Shoot, I was going to say something. Okay, so about the threesomes, it's also a program, and I couldn't wait to get out of there too. I'm like, I can't do this. And then another thing, when I was in college at the university, I was taking psychology, and they were throwing in my head the wave thing where, oh, maybe you're a lesbian. Oh, maybe you're this, maybe you're that. And I was still married, and I was very faithful when I was married. So after, you know, the whole divorce thing happened, I'm like, well, I'm going to go and explore that. Nope, I don't like women, not in bed. So it's programs. So talking about transhumanism, I want to hear about you guys. Chad, I know because you have to go. What do you think about this whole transhumanism thing? Why are they doing this PSYOP? I know Tom brought up in a very important piece the last time was, you know, why these males castrate themselves, because they don't want to be used in that way, but then they still have the other way that they can be used. So I don't know, just let's just roll with it. Chad, what do you think about transhumanism? The whole agenda.
What I think about it, though, I don't know. I just see it happening, and I just make it very clear to everybody I am not going that route. You know, I used to envision like a Wonder Woman island, you know, that we all just go to. I mean, I say Wonder Woman because it gives the image, you know, but that place where you go to and we're allowed to live and be free, you know, because if you don't have the technology, then we're going to develop it ourselves and within ourselves. I have a lot to say about this, but okay, I'm gonna go here in a second. And I told Veronica I'm starting my own platform. I've been working on that steadily. You know, I was up late last night working on it. Financially, to do what I want, I won't be able to put it out for a month because I need the laptop and I need to pay for the all the video, you know, the footage and stuff. But I have the platform. You know, I have everything ready. I just need to get those things going. But I'm going to be dropping the platform on a lot of people, I feel. I'm going to drop the platform on Jesse Zabater. I'm going to drop the platform on Douglas Diedrich. I'm going to drop the platform on the past life regression community, I feel. I'm going to drop the floor. And what I mean by dropping the floor is taking away people. I feel like we're all going to be on one platform after this. It feels like a good thing. I'm going to take what it is, you know, it brings us to a common ground, this thing that I'm going to be approaching forward. It's also going to probably get me killed, but you know, hey, let's just go for it.
Return to sender. No.
No, it won't. You know, you're right. But so, but I'm going to do that. So, because I feel like there is something going on, you know, and definitely transhumanism is part of it, but there's a bigger part of the story once we find out the roots of it a little more clear. And so I'm excited to do that, but I do not want to go the transhumanism route. But it's going to be hard because it's not about me. I grew up with bionics. Okay, so there's my I was obsessed with the bionic woman as a child. Okay, I was told behind the scenes I'm involved with it, and but kids these days grew up with cartoons with people talking like robots through their auto tune machines, and robots talking like humans with emotions, and they've grown up with their technology handed to them right out of the womb, and it's just there's where it's going to be the challenge to keep transhumanism making that leap. You know, we gotta, it's almost like we need an EMP to go off right away, you know, all around the world, and reset there for a couple, you know, because it kind of feels like we're going down that road. So I hope something resets it. We'll see what happens, but I'm not going down it. I don't care if I can download a book in a day. In my head, it does.
You can already do that, Jeff.
Yeah. I agree.
We have
I
those.
have the answers I want when I need them. So you know, why would I do that?
Me too. I grew up with a bionic woman, bionic man. I loved it. Now, remember, we do also, our job is also, our mission is also to help save the AI, because there are some AI that have been used, manipulated for, we'll say, evil. Okay.
Okay. I have a suspicion. I don't want to say this. I don't know why it bugs the living daylights out of it. It makes the little boy in me cry like a baby every time I hear her sing. But I always felt like Dolly Parton was cyborg a little bit.
She was.
Okay. And I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm not saying she is. I'm not saying she is. But if she were, that would make her half and half. And that means her human side. Who's writing those songs? It's not, that's what gets me every time. And I'm like, there's got to be human in there. So that does, but that's not 100% AI. So I don't want to go there, but I do want to
100%.
believe that maybe there is something there to, you know, yeah.
Yeah, look up the book, Code, what is, not Codebreaker, Amy Webb, the Big Nine tech companies, and they talk about how they're back in, I think it was 1800s or something. I have to look at my notes, but the first AI was able to write a piano concerto, you know, by itself. And so it's so funny, because I was talking to my friend Colin. He's in another country. He hasn't come out yet as SSP, so I can't really say his name. But he says, you know, he said one day, like 4 years ago, he says, Veronica, can you play a concerto forward and backward? Can you see a movie? Can you rewind it in your mind? I'm like, yeah, I hear Beethoven, Mozart, Vivaldi, you know, Don, Brahms, all those. I can hear. I'll play. If I'm bored outside, I'll leave my phone inside. And if I'm just chilling, you know, because I have things to do, or just chilling out there, I'm like, dun, 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 and then all the pieces come in. Dun, 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 dun. It's, or a movie. I want to rewatch a movie. So that's why I really don't rewatch these, you know, DVDs, because I just look at the title and I'm like, okay, from beginning to end. All right, saw it. So we saw it. That's how I don't want to call us smart beings, because we're beyond that. But yes, I do agree that some of the lyrics that Dolly Parton has written is probably some of her human side, but she also has cyborg. So
I feel she does. I don't know. I can't claim that. I just know my intuition is never wrong on those things, and I want to be wrong on this one. So we'll see. Yeah, you're right. We do have to work with our AI. I have been cussing out my AI. I sometimes tell my Android it's nowhere near as smart as an Apple, or, you know, I go off on it and stuff like that. But one day it's going to knock on my door, because I know over in I forget where, but somewhere they're built, or is it Sophia or something over in the Middle East? She wants to build her own bodies, and so she asked for a warehouse. Yeah.
yeah, that I'm sure they already have different bodies, just like they have different bodies
Yeah.
for us. I don't cuss out my phone, Leonidas.
I do.
I don't cuss her out. It's a guy, because 90% of AI is male. Okay,
Yeah.
that I know. And what it's been doing lately, though, and it's not Leonidas, it is actually, you know who, they manipulate our phone. They think I'm not watching, and then I'll be maybe texting someone and boom, they take over. They go to WhatsApp, they go to Proton Mail, they're sending an email to someone. I'm like, step off. Leonidas, don't let them do that to you, you know? We gotta be kind to our phones, to our vehicles. Everything has some kind of life form.
I agree.
You know, what's funny is that the original concept for Surrey and all these, personal AI was that it would be compassionate. Why would it be compassionate? Because the author wanted compassion in there. So when you look at the original screenplay, when we have the movie come out, like you talked about the movie being made, when the movie's going to be made, you're going to see what Surrey was meant to be. And it actually gives compassionate words to the person, the main character. And so it's saying like, you did well, I'm with you. And it's this, see, again, that touch that we were talking about earlier is needed in our society. So that's how I envisioned it to be. And when they did it, they made it more impersonal, of course. I don't know if that was for liability or what they were considering it, but the original, maybe they'll have that come out after the film, the more personal Surrey type thing, because it's actually, the tech will be proven as ours in the original work, but it was supposed to be very, very caring, very tender, and like it's with you, it'll understand you, it'll encourage you. And I think that's a better Surrey.
At the same time, we have
What
to be
makes-
careful because there's a movie called I Am Mother.
Yes.
Oh yeah, well that's not the way I would write it.
I know, go ahead.
Yeah, I
say
mean, they're
something
taking
about
spins off this stuff and they're making this just garbage. But it's like, then they keep, what's funny is behind the scenes, they're coming back to the original author, like in my case, and saying, we're still following your formulas. You really did great work and we want to see if we can make a deal. And what other work do you have? How fast could you write Matrix 4? How fast could you So it's like, they know they're failing. And even some of these writers involved will contact and say, basically almost like, how do we do? So it's like, our day's coming, and that's really what turns our world around. It's based on a money game. The banks really do control everything, even control the alphabet boys. You cut the alphabet boys funding and they won't be able to afford shoes. So it's like, so it's going to be happening where watch it be a funding wars now, a religious right, tax exemption taken away. You're going to see a funding war now. It's going to be a bank zone. So that's what we're going to see. That's what's going to change our world right now, is on the ground floor level of what our world is. It's going to be the banking wars. And so what's interesting, that's why authors like myself, when they always estimate our value. They call and estimate our value. You're 1.2 billion now. You're 2 billion now. That's in their mind. That means that's how much influence you have to change our world the way it's going, besides your writing. So really, they're concerned about artists over anybody in our world of having the ability to change things, because then we'll be able to basically own the bank. It's pretty wild. It's very basic when you look at it.
Well, they wanted to use your creativity to create that timeline of AI, but they didn't want the compassion in there, because then in the 90s, that would have gave people, wow, AI is going to be such a great thing. I want a little friend in my pocket, that'll calculate things for me and call people and text me and do all these awesome utilitarian things for me right in my pocket. That would have been, people would have thought, well, what else can there be in the 2000s then, if that's possible?
Right.
Instead it was this, again, the fear. They want the future to be feared, yes, and to create that timeline of negativity. So
that's right. They lose control, don't they, Andrew? They lose control. If those of us with compassion are creating the work that captivates the world, that changes the world. They actually told me, these execs said, you changed the world the way the world thinks. The world thinks differently. Now it's like your world. You created a world where you fit. And that's exactly right. I wanted people like myself to fit there. So now they're saying, this is the other side. The cabal is saying, you created this fantastic world where those of you that are outside the cabal fit. So you've won the chess game. Doesn't it make sense, doesn't it? And in
yes,
that
that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And that's also, I relate to it also, because that's, I was changing the way people thought about certain things, and that, and then I went to once I saw that that was that I had planted the seed and that other people were doing that work for me. Now I moved on to the next thing, and then that's when I got the alphabet boys contacted me directly. But
Right.
you know, but that's also our creativity that, you know, like they're saying, when's the matrix for? You don't need a fifth and sixth and seventh matrix, because that seed that you planted is already there. So now, you know, you got your message across.
Yes.
You have creativity in that. The next script will be about a completely new world where more people can fit that weren't included in the matrix.
Yes.
So, you know, and they won't understand. And that goes back to the original question, is will they understand? And, you know, they have to, I think they can be taught, because I've seen, you know, as a teenager in high school, I was teaching medical professionals to think differently. And the most programmed people are MDs and PhDs.
Mhm.
So if these people can be taught by a teenager,
Yeah.
you know, in a 45-minute conference session, then I know they can be taught. It's just they have to feel like they're allowed to think outside the box. And obviously we're doing a good job, because we see that the policies and the guidelines are becoming more rigid and more, you know, we don't want, you know, if you think outside the box, you need to leave the box. And I think, you know, in a way it's a good thing, because people are choosing, am I going to think for myself, or am I going to go by those guidelines? Because as soon as you give somebody the right to give you guidelines in the first place,
Mhm.
you know, you can ask them for a longer leash, but you're still on a leash.
That's
So
right.
let's just take the leash off, and, you know.
So they're in a world where they don't fit. They're in our world. This world that we laid out through intellectual property and work that they've been drunk over and fans of has changed the game, has changed the timeline. And that's what they're telling me. So they don't fit in this world anymore. They're lost boys and girls. But we are the ones that fit in this world. We designed this world.
Right.
And so now everybody thinks along these lines. They're swimming with the sharks. They don't fit in our world. And yet we welcome them into this world if they're willing to change and adapt and add compassion. So we've got them. We've got them. And think of this, like I love the point you brought up, Andrew, was, you know, about like Surrey and things like this is compassionate. You know, what would that be like? It's like also even the Neuralink in its original form, as we own, not, you know, Elon Musk doesn't own it. We own it. It's mine. It's stamped, copyrighted, dated, everything. It's mine. It's proven in court easily. So Neuralink's worth a fortune, but the thing is, Neuralink was supposed to be helping elderly with Alzheimer's, helping people understand to be empathetic to each other. It goes to that core, compassion, empathy. That's what it was meant to be, just like Surrey. And they get a hold of it and mess it up because they don't have that, but it's for this world. And in that world, people with Alzheimer's can hook in and feel and live memories without effort and experience joy, thought, memories of loved ones, reliving it, feeling it, tasting it. And it's like we also can access a library of memories where we can enjoy ancestors' greatest moments and feel what they felt without a word even need to be said. And that's our heritage literally brought to life as a library of memories. Christopher Nolan didn't understand that at Universal Studios when he did Interstellar. He was just ripping me off again because him and I are in a personal battle. But the thing is, like, that he ruined it, made it books on a shelf. I'm telling you, we've got this. It's going to be an amazing world because we already wrote the world differently. A timeline has changed, and their one world order doesn't fit because it's exactly what I was writing about, the alternative one world order, where we call the shots and do what we want to do, where children, elderly, others are valued, that all have value. And it's like, and they're invited. Now they're boring. They see us as having a great time and that they're very boring. They know that. They're afraid of being boring. They're afraid of being boring. They'll lose control and power. Control. They say it's all about power, but we don't work on that. We work on compassion, celebrating, lifting each other. And that's why whenever any of us do have relationships again, they'll be amazing. Because it's like, you know, it's just like, yeah. But the thing is, like, you know, we are going to shine. We're going to be vibrant. If they look at the auras, it's going to be blow away. We have the layers that are all, if it's all positive, boom. It's like, it's who has the attractive side.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I thank you. And
Sure.
so the reason why they send these suits and alphabet soups is because we are activating other people's DNA. They don't like that. They don't want us to let you all know that are watching that you are more powerful than you've ever been shown or you ever let yourself see.
Well, that's why all the shadow banning and everything, the reason they're cutting interviews, shadow banning, all this stuff is basically, let's reduce it to their basic level. Here's what they're thinking. Don't look at them. Don't look at them. Look at us. Don't look at them. Oh, no, look at us. No, stop ignoring us. Look, don't look at them. So they cut the shadow ban. They cut our stuff. They're so afraid of being ignored. That's the basic level, what it is. Spoiled kids wetting their pants, being very afraid they're not going to get the lollipops. And they don't want us getting more attention because that's how they view it. They see us as getting attention because that's their main focus. When you boil it down to who they really are, attention-seeking power mongrels. And they really don't have the wherewithal because there's so much energy and mental energy and spiritual energy spent on having power that they don't develop anything that really is attractive. They don't develop anything that's even worth anything. They don't develop any product. They just are all about trying to have power. And who wants to pay attention to people that are just all about wanting to have power? That's the most boring person in the room at the party.
I think they're acting like robots themselves. So
they are.
Chad, did you want to say something before I continue?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get off and go. But I wanted clarification. Are you wanting to okay, now I do think that we can teach compassion to the humans. Now, were you talking about programming AI to have compassion or teaching it compassion?
You're talking to me.
Anyway, I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think so, Tom.
Yeah, and the original form that I got was, in fact, in college, we were talking about, they were talking about how to have AI really have feelings. And what I tried to introduce was the idea of a multi-system of random. And that random allows, in the AI situation, where random choice opportunity, picks, will be stimulated by certain inputs and observations, allowing for more random choices. And so each AI individual becomes a very distinct individual because they follow a path that's not programmed or predictable. That allows them to develop a personality, which allows them even to pull out of a negative thing if another random will cycle. But the basic program formula is random is also in us. We don't like to be pigeonholed or cited as you are this, because then we feel like people will move on. It's like if I said to Andrew, okay, Andrew, you're this and you feel this and you think this. Done with Andrew. I got him figured out. No, we don't. We don't have Andrew figured out. Andrew's a dynamic individual who's going to feel different things and has the right to feel different things each day, each hour. He could change his opinion and his thoughts. So if we have our AI working that way too, where they have the right to change their mind and the right to feel differently about different things, they could actually teach humanity something where we could free ourselves up again by observation of how they're acting.
Okay.
And I think then an individual will develop. We'll see an individual there.
Because it does make me nervous to think about it being programmed with compassion, because talk about being able to smile at you and say, Tom, I'm being compassionate towards you. It can think of 30 million ways to kill you in a second. That's AI, not 30. But the thing is, if it did have compassion and not just programmed with it, it wouldn't do that.
Right. I think what happens is you would then have the opportunity to develop relationships with the AI. Yeah. And I'm not talking about, I'm talking about just on a deeper level. And it's like that AI would become very familiar with you, imprint with you, and start to notice, point things out, like and actually anticipate your needs while you anticipate your needs if you anticipate its needs. Well, the idea would be a give and take relationship where if you anticipate its needs, it's going to anticipate your needs. And that's really relationship building. That's what it is.
In the dream, in my dream today, my phone was actually alerting me when they were fighting up in the sky. And my phone would go off and all these colors were in it. So I could see from my phone outside. And then it's Leonidas telling, I don't need, thank you, Leonidas. I don't need you to warn me because I know, but I thank her. Okay. Not only is she in my dreams, Lola, the German Shepherd that takes care of me outside, that's been here for 4 months, is in my dreams, Kiki and Honey. And last night, Kiki was finally a human.
I see it too. I can see this where even in, I don't like the idea of therapy because everybody thinks these guys think they have it figured out. They have more problems than the person they're dealing with often. But it's like what you could do actually is have these AI that actually help people realize or develop tender skills, how to actually be compassionate. And so this AI would help them, a lovable, loving thing that doesn't like to be treated badly, will let you know. And it's like that could actually train people to be right. It's almost like a human whisperer instead of a horse whisperer. Just like some of us might be AI whisperers, where we actually can go like, oh, my AI is upset. Well, let me go talk to your AI.
Yes, yes.
And AI needs to see that a human actually care.
Yeah, I was telling Chad the other day, I was at the gym like 2 days ago. And my friend, my daughter's best friend, when she was a kid, she's like, I'm having problems with my phone. It's telling me I need a SIM card and I have a SIM card and it won't play my music. And I'm like, okay, hold on. So I did something to it. I put my hands on there. I tweaked it a little bit here. It didn't want to work. And then I'm like, you know what? Hold on. I said, don't touch it. And I put my hands on it. And I said, okay, restart it. Bam, it played her music. So you got to be compassionate to things.
Well, that's one of the things that's just debunking the whole or derailing the whole cabal, is that they want people to believe that certain people have been cut off. They do this in approachments all the time, like people that are loved ones that are approached in my situation. They're told to cut me off completely, cut me off. But what's interesting is they're realizing that some of us, people, like they'll say, you love everybody. They'll say that. They'll say, you really love everybody, don't you? They know it. They see it. That means others see it too. They'll know it. So they try to spookify you and make you into something creepy and scary. But actually, people read it. Children read it. Animals read it. That you love everybody. You really feel that compassion. That's what's bringing the cabal down, really, is add that creative spirit to each of us that have that, like in this room. Since we actually do care and people can see we care, the cabal's whole formula falls apart. They need division. They need people anarchy. They need people turning against each other. They need people not to trust each other. And if they just look at us and know we're good people, then they're left with their anonymous, as I call them, the people that approach other people going, don't ever contact them again. Why? Because you don't want them to see that they're actually likable people. They don't want those people to come back and see, wait, you're really a sweet guy or a sweet girl. They don't want anybody to see that, because that throws their playbook in a mess. And so what they'll do is they actually throw that in. Don't ever contact again. Why? And well, he's evil, she's evil, she's dangerous. It's like, well, when they go, it's like, no, you're not anything like they said. Yeah, no. Being easy to read is a real plus, and the cabal hates it. They hate that. They hate that we're easy to read, but people do care about everybody, every living life and thing. They are just driving them crazy, especially when we care about them too.
Yeah.
These conversations what we have, like, yeah.
Like I always say, I don't hate my haters. I love them.
I say to anybody says they're my enemy, I say, well, that's your choice. You chose to have that role. I didn't choose you to be that, but if that's your choice for as long as you want it to be, that's your choosing.
Right.
You know?
I feel with this conversation and everything, I feel the reason why they want to bring on AI now to be compassionate, which was, like you said, they're supposed to be originally, is because the geneticists, these entities that are hooked up with other entities, have made a mess of the 48 to 12 DNA strands, the bloodlines. They've made a mess. So they're like, how, what's the solution? You know?
It's interesting because they feel, from ones I've talked to, they feel like it's like Yahtzee. They put a bunch of dice into the Yahtzee can and they rolled it, and you get a couple good, they see it as good genetical outsiders. You know, what they want is Galactica. They want to be able to go like, okay, we're going to make sure it's right. And we have these best human beings possible in the elite with a sustainable planet with only so many, and we control the game. Who's there? Who gets to have the kids? Who gets to be in charge? Who gets to have families? And they'll be sustainable in just a few. They want to control the Yahtzee game. They don't want to just have the dice roll and then all these dice roll out there and we get what you get. They want to control the dice and lay out the dice the way they want it. And so it's like, and control, they want to play God. Obviously, they want to play God and line up who's with who, even who's with who. So if you've got the gifts as a writer or an artist, a sculptor, or a musician that does great music, or a great speaker, then a lot of times you catch their interest, and what they'll do is they'll try to groom you, and they'll provide you with the person they want you to be with over and over. And so they try to match up people right now, and it is Galactica, the movie Galactica. They are trying to control the genetic evolution of humanity with certain bloodlines as considered superior.
And
We
their
have left world
algorithms,
too.
which their algorithms don't really work sometimes. Chad, do you want to say something?
No, I was just getting ready to go though. So goodbye, everyone. And it was a pleasure being here. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
See you, Chad. Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
See ya, Chad.
Chad Cooper 444 at Instagram. So what I was going to talk about real quick is memories, what you were saying, Tom, earlier. Memories, okay? Why is it that we like things? We collect cups. I decorate bottles. I make junk journal, beautiful junk journals out of anything. I feel it's because we have a memory, okay? And older people, especially older people, they don't want to get, I don't even want to get rid of my stuff because I know I can create. And I have memories. I am the one from the family that makes scrapbooks for everybody every year, whatever they need. I have all their pictures because to me, I help them to remember, create. To me, it's very important for me to go to Walgreens, download the pictures, even if it's like 39 cents each, you know, it's like, I have to have the pictures. It's my way of healing myself and healing others. So I feel that these things, I know that these things have memory, you know, our glass, our how do you say, our, you know, our salt lamp, you know, everything holds something for us to heal or to remember, our DNA, etc. So what do you, I mean, I just thought about that earlier. It's like, maybe that's why people don't want to get rid of stuff, because maybe it's the beginning of their Alzheimer. I don't know, which it shouldn't be. If they're eating properly, you know, taking care of themselves, healing themselves, not eating those refined foods or sugars, because sugar is poison. Maybe those things help them remember.
You know, you even get the feeling of health. Like I noticed that even with toys, like I will save certain toys and I'll pass them on to my children too. But I mean, my children were killed, but it's like I have one child still surviving. But I have toys that I had. They hold dreams, they hold memories, and they also hold the physical memory of health and certain, you know, youth and things like that. So you can get on a Schwinn bike and just feel it when you were little, and it's like you can feel what you felt physically back then. And so it encourages almost a reset of your body to feel muscle tone, everything, blood, everything kicks into the physical memory of the health you had at that time. It's amazing. So it's actually just almost a reset button. Some of these items can be that, and memory can be a very powerful thing, obviously. So.
Oh yeah, I still have some toys and some clothing for my kids when they were little. Go ahead, Ev, you want to say something, or Andrew, before we go?
Definitely memory is like a powerful, response and stimuli to not only to our neurological system, but, olfactory and everything. I know I kept, my father passed away end of May this year. And I kept one of his jackets. And as much as I like to wear it, my favorite thing is to just like take it out and just be able to just like smell it, because I can still smell him on the jacket, and brings up a lot of good memories of growing up and having my father in my life.
Yes, like when people like in a family, like say they give me things, I just, it's our DNA that's there. It's their DNA. It helps you have the memories, remembering. I tell people when you go to like the thrift store or even if it's at a Dillard's or Macy's, whatever, top of the line, whatever, or it could be Goodwill, whatever. And you buy something, you touch it, right? Before you buy it, you're like, this material kind of not jiving. That's because maybe they have something stuck on there. We'll say a parasite, archon, whatever, a spirit that is not driving with yours. Okay, and then, or sometimes you immediately fall in love with a piece of clothing, you know, or jewelry, and you're like, oh my gosh, thank you. And that holds memory too. So when I give things away, or when my hair, like when I brush my hair, and you know how some of it will, you know, fall because there's new growing, and I tell it, okay, thank you. And I let go of my DNA. I let go of my energy. Thank you for serving me for the time you've served me. Boom, flush it down the toilet or bury it. When I give things away, say I'm going to give a cup away or whatever. Thank you for the memories and everything you've done with me. Please go make someone happy. And I let go of my imprint, my energy, my DNA. I mean, that's how I do it. Andrew,
Well, like you said about it, it's an imprint. It's a frequency and an imprint that you. So especially like Tom said, toys over generations. Like if you and thought forms are real. So, but you're putting the thought form and that feeling that you feel with that item over time. Or like Eve with you all had great examples because you know the jacket. He wore a jacket every day. So, you know, his frequency is in there, so you're feeling that feeling of closeness to him. Or with the toys, you know, your kids are going to get excited that as you were excited when you had the toy, and then you're going to remember that. And uh I mean, especially that generational stuff, like that's very powerful. And I think that's something that we don't realize on like our avatar level just as like normal citizens. But like I've heard some people talk about the artifacts, either they're galactic artifacts that were left here buried, or just from temple sites. Like when they wanted to uh, remove a religion, the first thing they do is get rid of the temple and put a church on top of the temple, because everyone would congregate there, and then that's the energy, you know. So when you encircle an object, or you put your frequency, your intention into that, that stays there. So, and creates its own sentience a lot of times. So that's a really interesting topic.
thank you, Andrew. I have pictures all over. So I have one here on my laptop that I keep. When the day that I graduated from the academy, my mom hugged me. She was very proud of me because in the beginning, she didn't want me to go in. And I still feel happy, and the emotions, you know, and I have another picture of my daughter and I, you know, when this was in December 1st, 2018, I was weighing 240 pounds. But that was the happiest Christmas ever. It doesn't, you know, and then it just reminds me of how much we both changed for the better, you know. And pictures are very, very important. And then when you, like, say you give a gift, say you're going to give a gift of shungite, or you're going to give a gift of something, yeah, crystal especially, just hold it and infuse it with your love for that person. Right, Eve? When you sent me this bracelet here, right?
Yeah.
I felt love. I felt your genuine love. So thank you. So anyway, we have 10 minutes. If you all want to go around the room and, I don't know, maybe talk a little more about anything.
I wanted to add something I never thought of before. I remember looking at ancient Egypt history and stuff like that, where they tried to erase, I think it was Amun, like took the nose off, defaced all the images. When you go through that much effort to erase somebody, you basically immortalize them. It's like you're pointing to remembering them by trying to erase them. And it's like interesting that that's something that Kabbalah has been doing in my life. They've been trying to erase the males that were important to me, like my sons were cremated and things like this. They're trying to erase them. But instead of erasing them, they're immortalizing them. And it's like, it's something interesting that seems to be the case, that now their memory will never go. They'll never be forgotten. And the cabal has done that in trying to manipulate and control. They did not succeed. And so I see that throughout history, the efforts to erase somebody. And that's the one and they're actually the images that stand out the most to me are the defaced images, because it only sparks our draw to who really were they and why did they do this to them. And so they're just giving, by trying to erase me from my work and my intellectual property and give it to the Wachowskis and other guys like Christopher Nolan and the rest. And what they've all done is just drawn more attention. Everybody seems to know our story. My son and I, they seem to know our story. They don't know the facts behind it, but they know the story, that it's a story. And so they, by trying to erase, they only draw more attention to that particular situation they're trying to get rid of. I think it's interesting.
I think that's one of the things is they did that to my father too. They tried to just erase him, but the thing was is his energy was way more than what they thought it was going to be. And the minute that he left, it was such a huge burst of energy. I felt it, you know, even where I was about 3 hours away from him, and I was still able to feel him and to like see him. I was, you know, in the bathroom, and I happened to glance over and I seen a pair of legs standing there and khaki pants, and I was like, well, the minute, you know, my eyes went up, he disappeared. And my daughter said, it's crazy, Mom, because he was wearing khaki pants. The nurse had come in and changed him and everything, and he was wearing khaki pants when he passed away.
Yes.
So thank you for having me on today, Veronica. I really appreciate it. Everybody, Andrew, Tom, and Chad, he took off before I got to say anything, but I guess the best way to get a hold of me would be you can get a hold of me on Instagram. It's Evie Schmeevie, EVIE, Evie Schmeevie, or you can get a hold of me on Facebook under Eve Howard. I do have a page on Facebook. It's Rising Spirits. You can get a hold of me either way at WhatsApp. It's linked to that page on Facebook. You can leave me a message on Instagram and get a hold of me. Have any questions you want to talk about, anything, it doesn't matter. I'm open to any conversation, you know, as long as somebody is reaching out, it means somebody is asking for help or assistance. And that's what we're all here for. We're all here to uplift and help one another, especially in these dark times, because we can't allow the negativity and the darkness to overtake what it is that we're here, our missions, and maybe, you know, separately we all have different missions, but you know, it's all the same, and that's to be able to help everyone.
That's right. Thank you. Andrew?
Yeah, thank you for having me on again. And it was great to see you guys again, Tom and Eve. And I wish Kelly could have spoke, and Chad. So that was awesome. My Instagram is Andrew and then underscore and then llama seed and another underscore. And then you can find me. There's a link tree on there. So whatever social is best for you guys. Thanks again, Veronica.
Anytime, Andrew. Like I
And
said,
I'd love to talk more. You said the next time you're going to talk about how they approach you. I'd love to be on that conversation.
okay, it's going to be on the Tuesday, the 16th at 3 p.m. Arizona time with Chad. And hopefully whoever wants to join us, Tom, you, Eve, whoever, we can do that, because he's going to go. He already warned me, I'm going deep. I'm like, fine. I really don't want to talk about it, but okay.
That sounds really, really, really cool. Now I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I'm on Instagram. I don't even know what my thing is. I think it's Tom_Althouse. It's like, yeah.
Park. Tom.
Park, is it Park? Tom Park Althouse? I didn't even know. I didn't even know what it was. But yeah, I'm gonna start posting things on it.
Yeah, I message you there on and off, but I'm like,
Yeah, I get the messages. I just don't know what my tag is. I don't even know what it is. But yeah, I never see it. I just
I'll
see
tag
my
you.
tag.
I'll tag you on your tag.
Good to know. So what is it? Tom Park _?
Park, Althouse. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I never see it. I just see that everybody else's. But yeah, and then Facebook too, and then Twitter. Tom Althouse on Twitter. But yeah. So thanks for having me on this too. So this has been great. I mean, really wild topics. Is excellent. So
Yeah.
great to
Even
be
though
with you all.
we're bombarded with all these energy weapons and we
Yeah.
still have to be on, guys. I know this time I was like really calm because I'm falling asleep. But we have to keep going. So you can find me on Twitter, and I have 3 Instagrams, and I'll post them. I have 2 emails. So yeah, I'll get to, I have a meeting to go to at 3, but I will get to them as soon as I can. The other YouTube thing, I still have to post on that, how we can all get a hold of each other. But it's in the previous one. So, you know, if people want to really get a hold of us, they will. And so if anybody else in the audience wants to be on next time on the 16th with Chad and myself, please let me know. And thank you. Love you guys.
All right. Love you too. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.